let me get right into it and let me get this out of my way because I don't feel like throwing up, all right? I don't feel like throwing up. Dallas Cowboys look good Sunday. Did you heard me say it, okay? Did you heard me say it? You happy? You happy? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, they connecting. Dak Prescott, was it 25-31 for 31, 304 yards. CeeDee Lamb targeted 14 times, 12 receptions. We saw what he did, 158 yards. He was big time, no doubt, 2 touchdowns. It was against the Los Angeles Rams. We're just going to ignore that? Or we just going to ignore that? Last time I checked, they're 3-5. Last time I checked, they've got a few losses this week. Did they lose to Pittsburgh last week? With Pittsburgh struggling offensively, didn't they still manage to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers? They've got a few losses on their docket this season. There's no doubt about that. Didn't we see the Philadelphia Eagles and Hassan Reddick close the deal against them in L.A.? By the way, they lost in L.A. to Pittsburgh. They lost in L.A., okay, to Philadelphia. They lost in L.A. to San Francisco. So let's not forget all of that other stuff, okay? So we got to get that out of the way. Matthew Stafford had a relatively decent day. Actually, I take that back. Only 162 yards passing, 13-22. Didn't have much of a running game. I'm looking at their receivers right now. Puka Nacua. Only 3 receptions, 43 yards. He's a rookie. We know what he brings to the table. Cooper Kupp, 4 receptions, 21 yards. If you're the Los Angeles Rams and you got Cooper Kupp and you've got Nacua and you still can't do but so much against Dallas's defense, all right? Got to give Dallas's defense credit, but also it says a lot about you. There's a reason you're 3-5. There's a reason you're 3-5. Getting back to the Dallas Cowboys, I will say this. That brother Micah Parsons is something special. 8 quarterback pressures, 7 of them in 2.5 seconds or less. This brother ain't giving quarterbacks a chance to breathe, okay? So we got to give him some love. We got to give their defense some love. Deron Bland had another pick six, his 3rd pick six of the season, and he's leading the NFL in that. We get it. We get it, okay? Even without Trayvon Diggs, this defense still has managed to step up and show you what they're capable of. I get it, okay? And when you combine that with the San Francisco 49ers losing their 3rd straight, this time having Brock Purdy back into the lineup, with Brock Purdy throwing for over 300 yards, and they still managed to lose the game, I got to tell you something. That's something to be concerned about. Purdy threw for 365 yards, a touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 22-31. They still lost, okay? Had a touchdown to Christian McCaffrey as well. They still lost. George Kittle, 149 receiving yards. Brandon Ayuk, 109 receiving yards. And they still lost. And they still lost because I tried to tell y'all the Cincinnati Bengals are coming. Joe Burrow always starts off slow. Always starts off slow. Particularly in September and definitely in September and October, but ultimately they come on strong. Started off 0-2 last year, finished the season, the last 14 games, 12-2. So Cincinnati is a team to be reckoned with. I know that Lamar Jackson looks like an MVP candidate. I know that he's been balling. I know that the Baltimore Ravens are something to be reckoned with. But when I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, I still say they were the team to beat in the AFC North because I looked at Joe Burrow. But that's beside the point. That's not where I'm going. I'm going to go back to the NFC because I'm going to shock you. And if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you might want to sit down for this. You might not want to be standing up for this. You might want to faint, actually, which is why you shouldn't be standing up. I'm looking at things right now as they're unfolding in the NFC. This is the Dallas Cowboys' best chance of the Super Bowl in a long time. That's right, I said it. It's true. The Philadelphia Eagles, how are you squeezing by the Washington Commanders? How do you give up 31 points to that crew? How does that happen? I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know how to feel about that. Sam Howell is the quarterback. This brother, Sam Howell, threw for 397 yards against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Sam Howell, 397 yards, passing, 4 touchdowns and just an interception. How the hell that happened? Now, Jalen Hurts answered the call, 319 yards, 4 touchdowns, not a single interception. They didn't run the ball that effectively, only rushed for 59 yards with DeAndre Swift having 57 of them. But that dude, A.J. Brown, 6 consecutive game, over 125 receiving yards, 8 receptions, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a man amongst boys. And Devontae Smith wasn't a scrub either. He had a touchdown, had 99 receiving yards and 7 receptions. I get it all. I understand it. Jahan Dotson, some dude named Jahan Dotson, 108 receiving yards for the Commanders. I'm looking at Philadelphia right now. You look suspect. I just brought up San Francisco, who's lost their third straight. They look suspect. Okay, now Deebo Samuel has been out, and we get that, and we understand how pivotal he is to their success, but you certainly expected them to do something, and they've lost 3 straight. You didn't expect them to struggle like this, and we started the season saying it's really about Philly and San Francisco. We saw Detroit on the come up, and then we just fell for the okie doke. We saw them coming, and we said, yo, Detroit look good. They're going to be all right, and then they went on national TV last week and got their ass kicked. Now, that was just bad. I mean, they got beat down and bum rushed. It was absolutely, positively embarrassing. They got annihilated by the Baltimore Ravens. We expected a big game from Jared Goff and the crew. Jamison Williams is back in the lineup. The rest of the pieces they had in place, and they got bum rushed. They were down 35-0. Wasn't even a game. Wasn't even a game. So we understand that we had to come crash down to earth when it came to the Detroit Lions. And that has me thinking about the Dallas Cowboys. If Dak Prescott's going to look like this, and CeeDee Lamb is going to look like this, and Micah Parsons is going to look like this, and Deron Bland is going to ball like he's balling, making you forget the fact that Trayvon Diggs is out for the season. You still got Stephon Gilmore, as far as I'm concerned, a future Hall of Famer on one side of the corner. You still got a Dallas defense that can get to the passer, particularly with Micah Parsons being able to pressure the quarterback. You look at the NFC. I mean, this is their best chance. So why am I smiling? I tell you why I'm smiling. Because as I often tell y'all, what can go wrong will go wrong. Just be patient. Just wait for it. You don't have to worry about it. Just wait and watch the Dallas Cowboys not let you down. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. San Francisco looks suspect. Philadelphia looks suspect. Detroit looks suspect. We supposed to believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints are going to make some noise. Minnesota just lost Kirk Cousins. They believe he's torn his Achilles. He's out for the year. His right Achilles. So you look at it from that perspective, one could easily make the argument that the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the path isn't clear, but the path isn't as difficult and as arduous as we suspected. And because of that, they don't have any excuses. But you see, you're listening to Stevie A right now. A man who knows the Cowboys very, very well. I study these boys. And I would like to remind you that they're at their best when they're the underdogs and when they're counted out. The second you heap expectations on the shoulders of the Cowboys, they fold like cheap bricks. And that's exactly what I suspect will happen. So y'all get all excited. Y'all be like my boy Mark Turner in New Jersey when he's sitting up there looking for me constantly every time the Dallas Cowboys win a game. But when they lose, I can't find them for weeks. Even his wife is looking for him. Okay? This is what goes on. Typical punk-ass Dallas Cowboy fans that they all around when they win it. But when they lose, you got to have an APB out for them until they get it together. And then after that, they go like this. You know we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? It ain't going to happen. But I'll give it to you. You're in a good situation right now. There is no denying that. I'll give you love where it's due.